some
We
accommodation
approve
for
it
all
like
these.
this, and then you can come back and
And
amend.
then they could come back, and if there's some failure in able to execute it or whatever, they could come back on a separate day and amend the application, amend the conditions accordingly.
Okay, got it.
And that would at least allow things to proceed and give us the opportunity to see if we can work it all out.
Okay,
That works.
okay, all right.
So we're there. Do you want me to restate the motion, Madam Chair, or just add that final
I think
condition?
we've got the final condition, which is now number 11. We know the other conditions. Do you want to repeat the final condition for the record? Either Mr. Portner or Ms. Porter.
Sure, Madam Chair, that would be condition number 11 that we would be adding. It would be a condition that states specifically with respect to the easternmost property, approximately 50 acres, all rights to develop that property under SR zoning entitlements are preserved with this conditional use of permit, subject to those improvements or development according with all standard Pima County procedures for submittal, staff review, approval, permitting, etc.
Thank you. Okay, so that's the motion. We have a second. And any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, moving on to item 15, specific plan rezoning CO 3-14-01, Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, specific plan rezoning staff report.
Madam Chair, members of the board, good morning. My name is Mark Holden. I'm the new principal planner with the Planning Division of the Pima County Development Services Department. It's nice to be here. Before you is CO 23-14-01, Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary specific plan. This is a request for a continuing care retirement community on 63 acres on North Sabino Canyon Road, approximately a quarter-mile north of East River Road. The planned senior care facility will offer various levels of housing and care that allows residents to age in place. There will also be some on-site medical and commercial services available. The proposal is for 477 units with a cap of 500 units altogether. The property is currently owned by the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, and they're being represented by the Tucson Land and Cattle Company. The site is currently a convent, chapel, and retirement home for the sisters on about 2.5 acres. In 2008, the comprehensive plan land use designation on the property was amended from low intensity urban 0.5 to medium intensity urban. Through that comprehensive plan amendment, there were a number of rezoning policies that are now part of the specific plan. Specifically, the use on the site is restricted to a continuing care retirement community, and the specific plan process is the preferred method for implementing development. There's a 150-foot buffer area of single-story residential development that will be allowed around current neighborhoods. There will be a core of CD1 local business use zones allowed in the middle of the property. That'll be for the commercial. The commercial uses will be for the residents and guests only. The commercial core will be restricted to a height of 39 feet. And the eastern portion of the property, about 20 acres, will be reserved as natural open space. This will include the area that has the stations of the cross trail. The site is outside of the McNeat Behan Conservation Land System. The applicant and their agent have conducted required public meetings for this process. Staff has received one letter in support from neighbors and we've heard from 8 neighbors in opposition to this project. The reasons include the amount of traffic on Sabino Canyon Road, the possible density, building height, and the proximity to existing neighborhoods, loss of wildlife habitat and open space, water supply, and the long-term care of the older sisters on the site. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the specific plan with standard and special conditions. Staff also recommends approval subject to the standard and special conditions. These conditions will actually be incorporated into the body of the specific plan document. This concludes my staff report.
Thank you. We have no one speaking in opposition. Do you wish to hear from the applicant?
I've attended multiple meetings on this, Madam Chair, so I'm good. I don't know if anyone else has any questions.
Any questions, board, for the applicant? So, Supervisor Miller.
Madam Chair, I move we close the public hearing CO23-14-01 and approve the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart Mary specific plan for a rezoning of approximately 63 acres from SR to SP of the Immaculate Heart of Mary specific plan with standard and special conditions as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission and staff to be incorporated into the specific plan document and standard and special conditions as recommended by staff. I think I already got that.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. You've been standing here so long. Why don't you both come up or sitting here so long, come up and at least introduce yourselves.
My name is Sister Alice Martinez, and I'm the superior of the sisters here in Tucson. We number 17, and it's been long overdue for us to do something with our property. Our sisters are not aging in place, they have aged already. And we have chosen this type of project because it is conducive to our lifestyle. And I really thank you for your support, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I would just comment that I'd like to thank the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary for teaching me when I was in grade school, in kindergarten, and junior high school. So, you know, I owe you.
Too bad it didn't continue with the rest of your education.
It all went downhill from there, Supervisor Bronson.
And I'm Jim Campbell with Tucson Land and Cattle, and I'm smart enough not to say anything. So.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Okay, now we move on to item 16, hearing rezone time extension for CO9-0901 Vale UPRR South LLC. Supervisor Carroll.
Madam Chair, I met with the developers in this instance. The hearing and the rezoning time extension has been vetted through Vale, and there have been no comments at this time. I don't believe there's anyone to speak against this item today, so I'd like to go ahead and close the public hearing and move for a rezoning time extension for CO9-09-01 Vale UPRR South LLC et al. Rocket Road rezoning for approval of a 5-year time extension with standard and special conditions.
Motion and a second for the time extension, CO9-09-01. Any objections?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just a point of law, I think there was a correction to the conditions. I think Mr. Poirier submitted a memo in the materials to that effect.
Right, and that will be incorporated in the standard and special conditions. Thank you. If there are no objections, motion carries. We now move on to item 17, hearing rezoning ordinance number 2015-5. This is a hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address us on this item at this time? If not, what's the pleasure of the board?
Madam Chair,
Supervisor Miller.
I move that we close the public hearing and approve ordinance number 2015-5 CO9-14-07.
Second, any objections? Hearing none, motion carries. Yes. Did you want a 10-minute break? We'll take a 10-minute break and then proceed to the addendum.